YouTube, do I have a video for you? Hi, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I will be going over a couple of topics. One, I will be going over why I recently decided to transition, from a bodybuilding focused kind of fitness routine to a more health and wellness one. And the other topic is I want to discuss and document my journey into making content creation my full-time career. Now, in order to give you a foundation for both of those topics, I kind of have to go back in time and tell you my story and what even got me into wanting to do content creation. And I think that this would be interesting and a good video because oftentimes when I tell people about fitness, the biggest determining factor on whether somebody is successful or a failure is their mentality. And I label it as the winner's mentality for the clients that have been successful, do great things in their life, enjoy what they've done. And the people that tend to fail is the loser mentality, is the primary thing in their mind with how they make up choices. And winners always find a way to make things work, and losers always trying to find a way to make things fail because that's the story they've told themselves will happen. They're just trying to live it out until that becomes true. And people who are insecure or struggle with things tend to unfortunately care more about proving to themselves they can't do something than be wrong about themselves and actually accomplish it. And I feel like I'm in a very great spot to talk about that because I've lived out both scenarios, right? I've got myself in shape physically. I went from being fat to skinny, from skinny to muscular, and I accomplished all that I wanted to and then some. But when it comes to my outside life, I completely failed. And I didn't just fail once, I've failed at least 14 times in the last 10 years, and the people that have been following me already know that because they've seen some of them. So, well, now's a great time for me to actually document my content creation journey a lot more than I did my fitness journey and show people this, because this will serve as a foundation for all the other videos I make, all the companies that I start, all the lives that I plan to change with those companies in this channel. So that's kind of the goal of today's video. I think I got slightly off track, but instead of going back and redoing this and making this a whole ordeal, I'm just gonna keep on moving. I will mess up a few times throughout this video, and that's also just a life lesson. When you mess up, don't freak out, don't panic, just keep going. I'm gonna go ahead and get into my story before I ramble too much and this becomes an absolute nightmare. Okay, so full transparency, I did finish my video yesterday. Today is the next day. And I started editing that video and I was writing down all the things I wanted to go ahead and change with that video. And I had originally planned to just wait until the next video to make the change, but I figured why not at least make these small changes now to the video instead of just putting out trash and rushing the process, instead of doing the best I can each time within what's in my control. And the video was way too long. After I put everything together and cut out the transitions and the ums and ahs, the video was still an hour long. And while some people can do that, I don't think an hour long video is necessary for the message I had for you guys and this channel in general. That was problem one. Problem two was I spent way too much time talking about individual stories. I think I mentioned 14 failures. I chose to only speak about 7 of them. But even talking about those 7, I spent more time talking about the experience rather than the learning lesson from them. And I have to realize and understand that those stories mean a lot to me because it's my life, it's what's happened to me. But as a viewer, you might not right now get as much value out of hearing those stories while I still have very little proof of concept of this journey from 0 to full-time content creator doing whatever it is I want. So I need to tone that back for now, and then in the future when I have more content on the channel and I have more authority to speak on it, I can then go over my story in detail and pick out the small little things that made things work and not work for me in different scenarios. And then the last thing was looking away too much. I've already done a little bit here, but I keep looking over there, because I'm trying to get my thoughts together, and my brain's kind of all over the place right now trying to figure this out. Do I need to focus more on the camera and talk as if I'm talking to somebody who's right here in front of me and not going off? So I'm going to redo all of that. I'm going to condense all that into hopefully 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just going to pick out maybe 3 or 5 big instances over the last 10 years that were impactful to me, and maybe a little bit of context on those specific things, and then go over my process for what I'm going to do to downsize, and then what I'm going to do to get my own content creation schedule and routine down and be consistent, and then we can go from there. So I just want to say that because part of the process is reviewing your own work and admitting when you've messed up and make mistakes and take ownership. And I needed to own up, so I was just talking way too much, way too long, and I didn't even provide the value that I said I was going to in the video. So I just wanted to put this in here before I go into the redone version instead of trying to edit my way out of a bad video. Let's see if we can do this right this time. So the 2 things I'm gonna answer are what got me into content creation, and then what got me into wanting to have my own fitness business and go my own way instead of becoming a part of somebody else's brand, and then kind of growing from there. So originally when I got in shape, okay, take 2. So now we're gonna try this again, but without it taking 50 minutes for me to explain everything. So 2 things I'm gonna answer is what got me into wanting to start my own fitness business instead of being a part of what was already out there, or stay on the original path I had for myself, which was to do financial planning, become a wealth ed advisor. And then what got me wanting to do content creation. So it happened partway through college. I don't even know where it started or what the root causes these problems were, but I started having more arguments with my social circle at that time. I was getting made fun of for how much I didn't party and not drink and go out, and choosing to go to the gym instead of party. And then I got made fun for the clothes I wore, the brand they were, what color they were, how often I wore certain clothes, my shoes, my pants, like too tight, too loose, or these have holes and these don't, or this color and that color, and skin color things, earrings, like it just, all these little things that should not have mattered to them. And what annoyed me the most is how much they accused me of being judgmental when I never at all worried about what they were wearing. As long as they were having fun, that's what I cared about, because that's what I was missing in high school and in middle school. Was I wasn't part of a lot of the social events because I was fat and people were ashamed to be around me. And so to then have them tell me to not be judgmental while they're judging me on everything just irritated me. And even the friends that they had from out of town that came in would do that too, and they never stood up for me or said anything. They would just watch me argue with them and then tell me that I have a problem and that I need to watch how I speak to people, but they never cared about people insulting me about my skin color or anything like that. So that really pissed me off. But I went online to look up how other people were handling this. I'm like, I can't be the only one having this problem where people are assuming that I'm a rude person because of my muscles and the physique I have. So I looked up negativity in fitness or body negative comment or something on YouTube, and I stumbled across a video from Christian Guzman about his college tours and going to different colleges and speaking with some of the students, and I was like, that looks awesome. One, he's doing his thing and he's working and doing a life that he loves while also helping other people do better, and he's around like-minded individuals that are also into fitness that would understand, you know, committing to the gym, eating certain things, weighing food, and all the things that are associated with that. And I would love to go to one of those and then meet somebody, or at least meet a group of people to share my experiences with, and we can bond over that and connect and see where that goes later. And that's what got me kind of looking more into social media fitness. And once I did more digging into like the different brands, the influencers, started to not like what I saw. So I started to see the initial red flags of the hypersexualization of fitness, where, you know, girls will say, oh, do you like my bathroom wall color? And it'll be a picture of them sitting on the edge of a sink, and all you see is just cheek. That's you can't even see the bathroom wall. It's not even in focus. And that, and then having like, oh, watch my arm day or my back day, or watch me do shoulders and chest, and it's still just cheek. And the guys were getting into the whole fake natty thing, which is when you take PEDs and not let your audience know, and so then you build a physique that is unobtainable, usually without taking those PEDs, depending on how far you go in your development journey with your body. And then you try to sell supplements and clothing and these other things, either through other companies or your own personal brand, to your audience. And that just didn't sit well with me, especially because I came from being the target audience of somebody who's looking for help when I really needed it and I couldn't find it. And because back then YouTube wasn't really a thing when I was struggling. And so that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I couldn't do that to other people, male or female, trying to essentially gaslight them into hating themselves and then convincing them that if you buy these clothes or my coaching program or supplements or energy drinks from me, that you'll be able to look like this version of me that I've created that I might not even look like as well. Because that was another problem, where people would look up to these guys, girls, and then see them at meetups or at a fitness expos, and then the influencers look nothing like their photos. So I was okay, well, maybe I'll just do my own thing. Maybe I'll just start my own fitness company. I'll start my own brand. I'll start my own everything. And that'll be a chance for me to do my own thing and also meet other people that share some stories with me. We can all bond over wanting to create this thing that'll not just help us live lives that we want, but it'll also help our audience, get past their insecurities, get in shape, go after things in life they may be afraid of right now, letting their body and their mindset hold them back. And that's what got it started. And the very first thing I did was I ended up, I stopped going to the gym that was on campus, and I went across the street to a gym I had looked up, and I came across this girl who did social media content the same way I was planning on doing it. And I was like, this is perfect, because I didn't know where to start, what to do. And she filled all of the gaps, all the problems that I had, and all the excuses I give myself to not start. And long story short, I ended up just picking and choosing small things that she asked me to do. I wouldn't do everything, and the lack of results ended up kind of causing me to drag my feet. I eventually wasted the opportunity with somebody who was doing the exact thing in their early stages of what I wanted to do. This was back when social media was still new and nowhere near as saturated with people that have been on it now for a few years and just starting out. A lot less competition. And that ended up being the story of my life for the next 10 years, is I had these excuses. I would somehow fail my way forward, and I would meet people who filled all the gaps of what I thought I had for reasons on why I couldn't start, and I would still somehow find a way to sabotage myself and the whole team, and just everything ended in fire. And over time, I would just kind of pick up this momentum going downhill, because every time I failed, I believed less and less in my ability to get it done. Even though I still kept the optimism that I could do it, I just wasn't sure on what it looked like. And I kept messing up, and I did that on and off for about 10 years. And now we're here. Now I've experienced my last kind of major failure that forced me into the situation I'm in now, and I want to make the best of this situation and start making the right choices going forward. Because recently I've been seeing people on social media, even just 5 or 6 months ago, they were brand new, had very little evidence of their story, and then 2 or 3 months later, they're signing contracts, they're having all these coaching clients, and they are making $50,000, $60,000, $80,000, $90,000 a month, and they're not, no offense, they're not anything like special. They're not, if I were to see them in a lineup of fitness influencers or coaches, I would never expect for them to blow up the way they have. And I think that's reality hitting me in the face, that I have these unrealistic expectations from being in this kind of fitness industry bubble for so long, that my sense of reality and what makes sense and what doesn't is very, very warped. And that's been causing me to struggle a lot, along with my loser mentality that I had over the last 10 years. So I'm going to document more of this journey, because that was one of the, I think, the things I regret is not documenting my fitness journey, because I got in shape without the intent of content creation ever being anything. So I'm going to go over kind of my framework for how I'm going to change my body and transition out of a bodybuilding focused one to a more health and wellness focused one. And then I'm also going to use that same framework to lay out my social media plan, because that same framework is universal. It's basically what I use to be successful in whatever I want to do. So I used to figure myself in shape, and I've been fat, skinny, muscular. I've changed my body multiple times throughout those last 10 years, and it's really not hard. Social media, though, a little bit different, and a lot of it comes down to still that mentality where I kept finding ways to make myself fail. So I'm going to document that. I'm going to grab my notebook because I'm not on my whiteboard anymore, and I'm going to go through all the steps and explain them, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like for my physical fitness journey of how I'm going to downsize. And I'm going to go through the content creation steps on what I have planned, and then go from there. Last time I messed this up and I didn't get close enough, so hopefully you can see all of this. I don't have the whiteboard I used to have because I left that back in my last place, and I might need to go get a new one, so I'm trying to go dig out the old one. But the framework that I use is, step one is mentality, goal, reality, options, plan, execution, refine / adapt. They're very similar but still different, and then finish. And this framework is universal. It's not something that's unique to just your fitness journey and getting in shape. Fitness is universal and applies to your body, your job, your relationships, your wealth, anything in life. And this is used for any goal you have. So this could be used for building up an investment fund, or getting your finances fixed, or fixing your relationship, or something with your body. So keep that in mind when I go through these steps and the point of each one. So the mentality, obviously, it's your winner / loser mentality. Losers think they can't do it, and they always try to find ways to sabotage themselves so that the outcome of losing becomes true. And then winners assume that they've already accomplished something. They're just trying to play catch up, and they think they can do whatever they put their mind to. They find ways to make it work no matter what. The goal is when you kind of bring clarity into it and you're specific on what you want. So instead of just saying, I want to be in shape, what does in shape look like? Because for some people that means losing 20 pounds, 40 pounds, 100 pounds, 300 pounds. For some people that means gaining muscle. For some people it's both. So it's being very specific on what outcome you're wanting, because that will help us plan out what inputs we need for your plan. And then reality means acknowledging what are all the things that you've done or have not done that led you to where you are at right now. And it's really important that you take this step very seriously, because some people mess up because they will not acknowledge their own contributions to their problems, and they don't get those problems fixed or handled, and they end up being problems going forward, and they still end up failing or struggling a lot more than they need to, because they won't stop doing the things that are causing them to fail in the first place. Options means looking at all the different pathways that we can take to get to your outcome. And keep in mind, there are always many, many different ways for you to reach your goals. The job that you have, or that we have, or that whoever helps you has, is you need to figure out which plan makes the most amount of sense to you, like which pathway is optimal for your situation and how you want to go about reaching your goal. That's why the very next step after options is plan. So plan is just picking out which option makes the most sense for you in your situation. Execute is when you actually start. Now I put a step dedicated to just that, because that is sometimes people's biggest hurdles. They refuse to start. They will spend all this time planning and trying to get to a point where they're ready, and they never actually start. You can't finish a journey you never start. So I dedicated a whole section just to that. Next is refine / adapt. So refine is making improvements to your original plan as it was written and getting better at it down that same path. Adapting means being open to other pathways that you maybe didn't choose the first time, or that maybe present themselves to you as you go down your journey. You go, I'm going down this path, and it made sense at first, but now that I'm farther down, I don't actually like that. So let's, take a detour or get off this path and get onto a new one that makes more sense at this later time that we're at. And then finish is more so realizing that you've reached your goal and reaping the rewards of all that. But then you have to switch gears from I'm trying to build to now I'm trying to maintain. Or you may set a new goal that's farther down the road or farther up whatever mountain you're trying to climb, and you set the next goal to keep you going, or you change from I'm trying to build to now I'm trying to maintain what I have. So I want to go through this process really quickly for my body, because for me it's kind of second nature. Getting in shape is super easy. I've already done it. So that's not much of a hurdle for me. My problem will be content creation, especially because I've already messed this up at least 14 times I can remember in the last 10 years, if not more than that. So I'm going to go through those really quickly, and then the video will be done. Okay, so now we're at the final part here. So my mentality going into changing my weight, very easy. Winner's mentality, obviously, because I've already done everything with my body that I wanted, and way more than I originally thought. So that's no big deal. The goal is to get about 40 pounds lighter. When I think back to when I got the most attention from the people I wanted it from, the way I wanted it, and feeling healthy and living my life how I wanted to, I was not my biggest. I wasn't 220 pounds. I wasn't 200 pounds. It was around the time when I worked for Abercrombie. I was 165-ish pounds at my leanest, and then I was 170, 275 at my heaviest. So not a very big gain in weight, but I was sort of lose some of my definition. My abs started to disappear once I reached 172, so I didn't like to go too much heavier than that. So I'm guessing when I lose some muscle and I lose a lot of this fat, I'll probably be heavier than 165, but we're gonna kind of play it by 10 pounds and see what I look like at 190, 180, and see what it looks like. And if I look fine at 180, we'll just kind of stop there. The reality is that I've let social media get to my head, and I started to go after a physique that wasn't actually genuine to me and my goals and who I am as a person and what I want from life. And I'm glad that I did fail as many times as I did, because that kind of forced me out of it, the environment that was reinforcing those beliefs that bodybuilding was the way to go, even though I don't like it at all, and don't gain anything out of progressing down that path, anything that's true to me. My options, I'm a very all or nothing person, so there's only one option for me, and that's to make this work no matter what. So there isn't really too many different pathways I can think of. I'm just gonna eat less food. I'm gonna document that, work out a little bit to maintain some muscle, not lose all of it, but it's kind of hard for me to do because I already know what to do, so it's hard to think of all the different options, because in my mind there's only one, and it's how I like to do things, and I know what works for me, so I'm gonna stick with. The plan is to cut my food way down to where I need it to get my body to respond the way I want it to, and I'm gonna probably have to fast for a lot of the day, and then shrink my meals down, and change my workouts up a lot, because I don't want to lift so heavy to where my body tries to hang on to all the muscle, but I also don't want to lift so light to where it retains almost none of it. So finding that balance will be key, and I'm going to record a lot of those videos going forward as well, so you know what I'm talking about. Execution, easy. We're already doing that now. We're making out our plan. I have no fears of will I start or not. I'm just going to start. The real question is, will I consistently film my journey from 210 down to 170, or will I fall back to my bad habits and wait until I'm done and then try to post afterwards, which I'm telling myself now I better not do. Refine, that'll be easy. I just kind of track my weight, see what happens, look at my physique in the mirror, make sure it's going down the way that I want it to, make sure I'm losing kind of some of the fullness of my biceps, lose a lot of my chest, lose a lot of my glutes and my legs and thighs, and get those down and shrink down a lot. And the finish will be easy, because then once I do that stuff to get there, maintaining it will be very, very simple, very, very easy. You just make a couple of small tweaks and I'll be fine. So now, here's the trickier one, and this is doing this process with content creation. So my mentality is kind of in between winner and loser. I'm confident that I can get the work done. Where I'm not confident is my ability to document it consistently in a way where I'm going to want to stick with it and where it's also valuable for you guys. Because I've done the YouTube thing before, and within 1 or 2 videos I got to a point where I hated making videos, and it used to feel like a retail job that I hated and couldn't stand, and I just the thought of making a video pissed me off because I wanted to focus more on living my life and not trying to worry about angles or this or that. And I think a lot of that came from my expectations I had around what makes good content and what doesn't. So I was holding myself to standards that were not necessary, which happens a lot when people are new to something. And 2, I was feeling forced to go down a path I didn't want. I didn't want to do content around bodybuilding or trying to get huge or being the strongest or the leanest, because those weren't goals that mattered to me way deep down. And I felt like I was forcing myself to be somebody I didn't really want to be, to impress people that I don't even like talking to. Because even in the gym, sometimes I get very irritated when guys start talking about bodybuilding. I realize that I'm here and I look like I care about that, but I really don't. And I kept in my head saying I'm very close to just like not eating for a long time, just making my body lose the weight, because I don't want this isn't me. And I didn't do that. So being put out of that environment now, I'm happy. And so now it's just will I be consistent with the content part, yes or no? So I'm kind of iffy on that, but for the most part, I'd say I'm more winner than not, because I know I can do the work. It's just a matter of finding a way to make it consistent. So the goal is to create a routine that I can stick to. It's about, can I wake up and do morning post and story post, and then reels, or just normal like posts on the wall. I don't even know what I'm talking about right now with these different things, which I can just look up the information again. But that's the goal, is to get social media to a point where I have a routine and I slowly build on it over time. I can start adding other apps, and then through social media I'll either get to a point where I'm posting content about my body, and then making it known that I can help other people do that as well, and then start with either a coaching offer or no, we're gonna stick with just doing it myself. I already know there's no brand out there I can make myself work with. That's a different video. Reality is that I'm here because I was more of a loser mindset person than a winner, and I've just been sabotaging myself, and I've had so many opportunities to make this work. And even 9 months ago, I was doing good with a routine on YouTube, and because the other person I was filming with, their schedule changed and we couldn't film together, I let that be an excuse for me to not make any more videos, and I let that fall off, and I didn't keep making changes to those videos, and it just kind of disappeared. So I need to stop sabotaging myself and stop overcomplicating the process of doing social media, because there's all kinds of people out there that are less qualified than you. They're living out your dreams only because they believed in themselves more, not because they're more able than you. So my options when it comes to how I want to post, I can either stick to one app and go all in on that, or try to spread myself across multiple apps. I might just stick to just 1 or 2 and get good at that and then expand, but I kind of need to do more research a little bit, but just enough to know what my next step is and not try to be perfect before I start. And right now, my initial plan is I think I'm going to start with Instagram and TikTok, because I got good at posting stuff on TikTok and taking that video and just posting to Instagram and keeping that consistent. So I might try to stick with just short 1 to 2 minute mini vlogs or whatever, and keeping you up to date on what I'm doing from day to day. And then maybe one day out of the week I'll do a full YouTube video to kind of do a broader, bigger check-in to see how I'm doing, versus just doing small little check-ins day by day through YouTube, and just save those for the bigger in-depth ones, and then save the reels and shorts for the small daily up-to-date checks. Execution, where I'm doing this now, like this video is step one, day one of me doing all this, and that way I can look back on this a year from now and be like, remember when I sucked at this? For the 30,000th time. And then refine, I'll do those kind of talks either in post, or I'll just do it in stories. I'll probably just make vlog posts, and then I'll do a separate post or story updates on changes I'm making and what I'm doing to get better over time. Then the finish, we'll know when we get there. And I'm not quite sure what it'll look like when I do finish, but I'll figure that out as I go. Because sometimes you don't always know what the end's going to look like, but that shouldn't stop you from still heading in that direction. So that's kind of it. So that's the whole process there for me with social media. And this is going to be the start to all of that and everything else. I know this video wasn't, super exciting, and I'm doing this more so for me necessarily than for you, so that I can at least get started on this part of my journey, and then I get better over time. And then hopefully by the time the algorithm picks up more of my videos, I will have gotten into a much better routine and rhythm, and I will have built a much better connection with you guys, and I've gotten feedback from you on what you like, don't like, and what I've done to get better, and I can help you do whatever it is you want to do with yourself. And this will probably be a training video when I have my big company, and I tell people everyone starts somewhere. Look at my first YouTube videos. They were terrible. I was nervous. I didn't breathe the whole time, and I tried, failed, but I didn't give up. I think that's what's important, is not giving up and just doing the best you can from where you're at, and getting past that initial awkward phase of, man, I'm terrible at this, people are gonna make fun of me, blah, blah. That's gonna happen no matter what. And the best way to get out of this spot of being early on in your journey and being stuck is to just go on ahead and start and stick with it, be consistent, because the sooner that you progress and get better each time, the faster you get out of that beginner awkward phase. So hopefully this helps you guys, and I will get my content routine together and down, and I will see you tomorrow for either a morning story post or a vlog post, and we're gonna go from there. If I don't see you tomorrow morning, it's not that I'm not doing it. It means that I hit another hurdle that I wasn't planning on, and I'm working on fixing it, and I will get to you when I get to you. But I promise I will be back, and this will not take 3 months. So hope you liked the video. See you later.